I'm Kenji.
And I'm Vic, and welcome to episode 20 of the Drone Service Provider Alliance newscast. Gonna have a good one, but it took us a while to get to 20, didn't it?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we always say we're gonna work on that, and then we don't because we have real jobs, and you have a whole different job, which is one of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to have a fun show. We're going to talk with Mark Langley from the NPS DDP, which stands for what, Kenji?
The National Public Safety Drone Donation Program.
Yep. I met him Tuesday on the Coffee Connection with Desi with Women in Drones, and asked him on the show. So he's on to be on the show. We clipped that earlier, and it's going to be a fun little show. Talk about what he does. We're going to talk about Florida.
Yes, Florida.
Florida.
Oh, it's been in the news.
It has been in the news. Lots of people are covering it.
Lots of funny headlines.
That was the funniest headline. Crappy U.S. made drones. That made my day when I read that headline. I think that was Gizmodo.
We don't like to say that. We want to have him say awesome, but unfortunately not yet.
Not quite yet. And our buddy, our good friend, Ken Dono, has a great clip. Actually, he's got a great video, which we will post below.
He's one of my favorite guys in the world.
He's awesome. And he's not necessarily safe for family viewing. And the clip we're going to show is not safe for family viewing. So we had a little fun.
Well, no, didn't you bleep some stuff out?
I did bleep some stuff out.
So it's fine.
But you can tell what he said because he's Ken Dono. But he gets to the point, and he said that, and we can't say that. Well, we can, but we won't.
Yeah, he doesn't pull any punches.
No, he does not, especially when it comes to this.
Has Ken ever pulled any punches?
For a while he did, because YouTube got mad at him.
Oh, okay.
I said, Mr. Dono, you need to chill. So he did for a little while.
Bad.
Yep. We're going to talk about an Iowa bill and a Montana bill. Not a whole lot. We're going to have links below. The Iowa bill was sent to us by Kevin Barber. He and I and Ryan Latrette are actually working with that. It's a aerial trespass bill-ish kind of thing to deal with people using drones to take pictures and video of livestock operations, basically. People like PETA and things like that. So misuse of drones gives us all a bad name. And then in Montana, there's also an aerial trespass bill, criminal trespass, and that was brought to us by Corey Dostal. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. Dostal. You know what? I haven't heard his last name, so sorry, Corey. And we'll put a link to that below as well. And then we'll go back to Florida and end on a high note. A lot of you heard about the Panama City Beach. Panama City Beach. Had a very similar bill that they were going to make anything under 500 feet in any aircraft. You could not fly over private property without permission. Corey Davis is their assistant city attorney. He and I had a great conversation about a week ago, spent an hour on the phone together, and he's a good guy. He's got some very interesting points and some very legitimate points. So we're going to have him on a show, probably the next show or the show after. He's got to get some stuff done. So we'll have an update on that, and it's a good update. But first and foremost, we're going to have Mark on. So let's cut to Mark. Hey, everybody. We want to welcome Mark Langley from the National Public Safety Drone Donation Program. It's a mouthful, NPS DDP. I saw him first on Tuesday with Coffee Connection with Desi and loved what he was talking about. He was the guest this week on that. And I wanted to invite him on the show and talk to Kenji. Kenji said, thumbs up. Let's do it. Tell us a little bit about NPS DDP, what you do, where you're located, and we'll go from there.
Sure. We're a 501c registered 501c3 based out of Hebron, Connecticut. We travel the country and we donate drones to police and fire departments. Our primary focus is supporting underfunded public safety agencies. Many people don't know about 74 to 76% of all fire departments in this country are 100% volunteer. I didn't know that. And I grew up in a town where there's a lot of volunteer fire departments. So they can't really buy the tools, the life-saving tools of drone technology with bingo nights, bake sales, and boot collection, So we try to help them as a result of this. I think we're the first nonprofit of our kind in the world donating specifically to support public safety.
That's awesome. And it really is. With drones in the news so much lately, especially with search and rescue and police department and SWAT using them so successfully, having those departments that just can't afford it, an organization like yours is indispensable for them.
Yeah, we've been very blessed with a lot of great supporters. We have a number of supporters from Autel Robotics to Pilot Institute, Foxsphere Lighting Solutions. Adobe just came on board as a sponsor. Walmart's a
Phenomenal.
sponsor of ours. And then we work very, very closely with like other organizations like APSA, Airborne Public Safety Association. Colorado Drone Chargers, another great company that supports what we're doing. And we've also partnered where I met Desi through Women in Drones. So some of the drones that we get from the general public, like my wife might have bought her husband a drone and he just put it on the shelf. He flew it a couple of times. So they send us that stuff. If it's really old technology, if we can't put it in the hands of public safety and allow them to deploy it with proper parts and maintenance and things of that nature, if it's older, we'll donate it to STEM programs too. So we donate to STEM. So we don't care how old the drone is. As long as it flies, it's got a battery, it's got a camera, we can find a home for it.
That's awesome. And so you don't want just, well, you do want a bunch of like Mavic thermals and Evo Maxes and all that stuff, but you'll use whatever you can get.
Yeah, we don't want them in the landfills for one. There's enough stuff there. And then of course these drones will sit and collect dust. And part of the thing we do is we want to get the word out to any public safety agencies watching this. If you've got old drones that you're looking to retire, donate them to us. Actually, we're just on a road trip, 13,000-mile road trip, 255 days. We did 5 donations. State of Colorado donated 5 used drones to us that they were using for research and development to fight fires and do some other things with them. So that as they get new drones, they buy new ones and they put the other ones on the shelf, and they donated them to us, which was great. Autel, another amazing supporter, gave us 14 brand new Evo 1 drones to get us on the map. So we've had a lot of success with the partners that we have. We're really excited to get the word out about what we're doing and let people know. If you got an old drone, send it to us. Also, another thing, if anybody wants to buy a drone, public safety, or the private sector, contact us first. We will guarantee best pricing or match best pricing, and our partners donate about 5 to 10% of the net proceeds back to us. So anybody wants to buy a drone, give NPS DDP a shout, and we will match or beat that, and your purchase will support public safety without a doubt.
That's awesome. And we'll put a link below, as always, down below here somewhere. We'll put a link to your organization.
Excellent. We really appreciate you giving us an opportunity to talk about it. Yeah. And I admire what you guys are doing as well, because the whole issue of what's going on with drones is really misunderstood in many, many communities. And that's another thing our foundation is involved with: education. We not only provide drones, we provide pilot training classes, lighting solutions, software for search and rescue, accident crime scene reconstruction. Skybrowse is another amazing partner.
Bobby's a good guy.
Great
guy. Yeah.
Oh, so I do have a question for you, Mark. But first up, I got to say, I was born and raised in Glastonbury, so I'm your next door neighbor.
You literally are, because that town borders Hebron.
Yeah, I know. My dad still lives out there, so I come out. So next time I'm out, I'll have to swing by.
You look me up. Yeah, definitely.
Hello. Here is a question for you. What are the majority of drones that you've had donated to you? Or is there a brand or anything?
Well, obviously, it would be the predominant brand in the industry, which would be DJI. So we had a company last year donate to us anything from a flying wing from XB to a very large 8-prop, I think it was I-900 or something, DJI. It's a massive drone.
That's 900. Yep.
That's 900.
Yeah. We're going to donate that to a STEM program when we find somebody who can put it together and fly it. It actually flew, but it's just too much going on there. I don't know. But we get a lot of, we've had parrots, we've had, the older Phantom series, drones like that. But we'll find a home, whether it be through STEM education, which is a majorly important part of education for these kids to get their hands on these drones, crash them, rip them apart, do what they want to do. And then, but it's been mostly DJI, I would say, primarily. Okay.
Now, is the program nationwide? So, for example, if there's a volunteer fire department, because there's in Oregon, there's tons of them, would we just say, hey, contact Mark over at NPS DDP?
Yeah, well, in the link, you're going to go to our website, nps-ddp.org. Top right-hand corner, you will see a link that says request a drone. And just what we ask is, we ask departments to not just tell us I need a drone to help save lives. We want you to write a book. If you can actually make a 3 to 4 minute video for us, look into the camera and tell us why that drone's important, how it's going to help keep your guys safe, how it's going to increase operational efficiency, and how it's going to benefit your community. If you can make those arguments, some of these organizations, we just did a newsletter last month, and we highlighted a drone application that had a really, really good video. Lots of railways going through, rivers, chemical plants. They just had the mixture of what would a drone would really help. And let's face it, when fire departments, police go into an area where they don't have good situational awareness, it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
So you're asking him in essence to tell a good story and tell
us why you need it. Write it like a grant, like I need it for X, Y, Z, make your point to us. But if you just tell us, we've had some applications that were 1 or 2 liners, and I'll take the application, we'll put it up, but it's not going to get you funded. And then also, if they've got a Walmart or a Sam's Club in their area, we're partnered with Walmart. We will apply on your behalf to a local Walmart or Sam's Club.
Oh, wow.
And we are batting 100% every time that we get a uniformed officer to go in, whether it be police or fire, speaks to the manager, and as long as there's funding, we'll typically get anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000.
Wow.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's phenomenal.
And we're batting 100 with that right now.
That's
I should
cool.
say, let's say 500 to 25 to $5,000. The 5,000 is rare because they only given I think 9,000 a year each store to divvy out.
Wow. So, and you mentioned the newsletter that went on Tuesday. You mentioned it as well. So I went in there and signed up real quick, along with a lot of people on that call. So when you go to the website, and again, we'll post links below. Sign up for the newsletter, because you'll get the reminder every what you do it monthly or quarterly. How do you do it?
We do it monthly, and then we also do press releases on every single donation we do. In Drone Life magazine is a premier
Miriam.
Media part. Miriam, first one, she wrote the first story on our foundation.
Awesome.
We weren't even a 501c at that time. I met her at Interdrone just by accident. Yeah, it was a great meeting.
Were you at Commercial UAV last year?
Yes.
In Vegas? I think I met you.
You may have met me. You may have met
Sharon and LaQuada and everybody.
I do remember that. We're standing by the table. Okay,
yeah.
I do remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kenji, were you there? I can't remember.
Did I go with you?
It happened before last week.
We all do so many events, but that particular event, APSA was there with the table, and Dan allowed NPS DDP to share the table. So that's another thing. There's ways that people can help us. They can volunteer their services. Obviously, if they wanted to make a donation, $5, $10 a month, something like that on our website would be much appreciated. But they could what would probably help us even more is tell 5 people in your network about what we're doing, ask them to do the same, and let's get the message out about what our foundation is doing. And the exponential value of that on our YouTube channel, for monetizing our videos and things like that. We try to record every single donation we do in person, and we'll put up a press release on that as well.
That's awesome. Hope to see you. I hope you'll be in Vegas in September at the UAV.
I will
UAV.
probably be there.
So we'll run into you there, because Kenji and I will be there.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks,
Mark.
Appreciate it. Take it easy.
I think talking with Mark either both Tuesday and today was pretty cool. His program's pretty neat.
I just find it great that he's a neighbor.
It is. It's funny. It's funny. Hey, I know where you live.
I know exactly.
Fly a drone over there.
Yeah, it's in Connecticut. The towns are really small too. So
Connecticut's small, so you can't have any big towns in Connecticut. It would bleed over into one of the other states.
But what I gotta say, it's a fantastic program. I mean, there's a lot of underfunded agencies out there, and they can really use the help, especially if you got an old drone lying around that could be used by them or even for STEM education. It's a perfect way to donate your used drone for a good cause. Yep. And perhaps you can save lives.
I'll have to charge my P2 batteries up, which probably won't charge since they haven't seen a charger in probably 5 years.
I have a P4P V1.
Well, I used my P4P this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, I was flying stockpiles up in Fairplay at 9,270 MSL at 31 degrees. So it was fun. It was good. It was good. Up in the true South Park, Colorado, by the way.
At least you're not doing any poo facilities.
I haven't done poo facilities in a while. I kind of miss it. I know that sounds weird, and people don't know the whole story behind that are going to go, dude. You're something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. Let's talk first before we get into the Florida and other things. What are you doing May 1st?
I'm starting a position with the state of Oregon as the director of aviation for the state of Oregon.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. Have somebody of your stature in that position.
Stature short. What?
Yeah, well, no. Well, yeah, you're short, but that's not the point. You can, like what's his name from Facebook, you can sit on something in a chair. But
Be like the pulley.
yeah. But having, with what you're going to be able to do, not just with drones, but AAM, and just aviation in general for the state, it's going to be phenomenal. So we're really excited about that. But what does that mean for Ascent Aerial, AAAC, and DSPA?
So DSPA, I can stay a part of DSPA. And then for my ACAM aerials, I can still stay an owner of that. So
Yay.
all the things that I'm involved in, I can stay an owner in, but I have to be very careful because I am going to be representative of the state of Oregon. So
right. And by association DSPA, we have to be careful as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
But for me, what's really exciting about it is like you mentioned, there's a lot of potential with drones, AAM, and really helping put Oregon at the forefront of all this. And then I can also help educate the legislature about a lot of the issues that come up and say, hey, this is what the FAA's perspective is. So I'm be a great resource for lawmaking, which is super helpful for us.
And the fact that all these state aviation directors talk to each other means that you're gonna put a bug in the ear of the folks in Colorado, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not only about drones, but it's also about STEM education as well.
Huge.
So one of the emphasis is really workforce development and education. Because we have such a pilot shortage, I think it's a great opportunity to really help push that, and it aligns well with the governor's priorities as well.
Beautiful. That's great. That's great. Really, really happy, really proud of you, and excited for what you're doing. And we're glad you're going to stick around with us because I can't do this by myself at all. So yeah, I'm really happy you're going to be doing that. And speaking of STEM, what did DeSantis do to the STEM programs in Florida on Wednesday?
He made it much more difficult for STEM education to use the best tools for the job.
I will take it a step further because I'm allowed to, because I'm not a state employee yet or ever.
I'm not yet.
Not yet, but you still got to be careful. He destroyed STEM aviation STEM aviation programs in all the public schools in Florida by outlawing basically anything not on the blue UAS list. And there is not a drone that would replace anywhere near a Tello in existence, much less be on the blue UAS list. So that's just the tip of the iceberg with what he did. And you and I both are huge STEM advocates. Dr. LaQuetta Sumter is huge in that. And she's also quoted in my article, which I wrote for Drone XL. We'll have a link below. It's just what he's done is to the STEM program and thusly possible pilots. Where do most people get their spark and love for aviation this day and age? It's STEM programs and elementary and high school. We have a pilot shortage, as you mentioned.
Yes.
And there's not going to be a lot of them coming out of Florida.
Too. It's ground crew.
Ground crew mechanics. I've mentioned before, my brother's one of the lead mechanics here at United in Denver, and it's a bunch of old guys, older than me. That's saying something. They're aging out, and we really need to replace those. And drones are the way to do it, in our opinion. One of the ways to do it.
Yeah, it's a gateway.
It's a gateway. It's a gateway. So what we did is it was 93470. Anyway, we'll link below. So Florida, DeSantis put into effect immediately on Wednesday the revision to Florida 93450, so 93450, and its number or section 7. This was brought out originally in 2020, and then It was then put into effect after a few meetings and stuff like that on Wednesday. It's basically no state agency, county, local, or municipal government entity, or any unit of government created or established by law that uses drones for any purpose may not use anything not on this blue UAS list. And so that just messes things up hugely. The Florida Senate had a great debate, which a lot of people saw last month. Io's got a good article on that, which we'll also link to. And the law enforcement and those folks and other first responders laid it on the line, really telling what's going to happen to their systems with the passage or with the implementation of this law.
And
the governor didn't listen.
It was all across the state too.
All across the state.
Mm-hmm.
All across the state. There's some great quotes on that. And we'll run some quotes below as well. That Governor had a really great opportunity to do the right thing here. Yeah. He needed to listen to his first responders. He needed to listen to people, the end users of this stuff, this gear, this safety gear. And he didn't do it. I'm just going to be nice and say he didn't do it. Well, and so, yeah.
Vic, do you have any clips queued up? I think it's worth it to play some of the clips right now. So
let's do that. Let's play some of these clips.
And DJI was a godsend to us in the technology. With DJI, in 5 years of DJI, we saw no losses, no issues, no failures. In 1.5 years, approximately, between two different manufacturers, we had a total of 5 losses.
We've heard a lot about officer safety. You can't measure what these drones have brought to officer safety, but what I want to stress here today in Palm Beach County, at least, we've been flying over 100 missions a month. We've been shut down since January. We've flown 5 missions since January. What we use our drones, except for apprehending people, we have an extreme number of Alzheimer patients, autistic children, and elderly missing people. As we all know, with autistic children who are drawn to water, which we have a lot of in Palm Beach County, minutes matter. We cannot get our helicopters fired up, warmed up, pilots in the air in time. Our drones are there. We've recovered numerous children wandering around the yards, near lakefronts, near canals. So just that alone, we are paid to take risks. We don't mind taking them. I don't think my brothers here and my brothers and sisters in the audience mind taking them. That's why we're paid. That's why we get high-risk pensions. But the children do not. The Alzheimer patients do not. So for that alone, I thank you for everything you're doing.
Why are you doing this to these men and women? This is just a sampling of the men and women of this state that get up every day, every night to serve us. And you want to take away this tool? I hate to be there the day when we have an officer that died because we didn't send in a drone that they had, because they can't afford to buy other drones. And I hate to think what the governor's going to say when he says that the back in the blue doesn't include that we leave the drones in place. Is that what you want us to have in the newscast?
What do you think?
Geez, it really shows it's two things, right? The first thing is it tells you how valuable drones are for public safety, saving people's lives, and helping people out. And secondarily, it goes to show you that really you need to have access to all the tools to do your job.
Yes.
Do it well. And it's more than two, but third, by grounding a fleet based on innuendo is going to cost people's lives and
absolutely
really impact negatively public safety. For no apparent reason.
Go ahead.
For no apparent reason.
For no proven reason.
Yes.
We've got the like you said, the innuendos. We've got the what could happen, and I understand that. I really do. There's people in this world that their sole job is to figure out the worst thing that can happen and prevent it. Get that? They do a lot of good stuff, but in this case, it is the quintessential example of cut your nose off to spite your face.
Yeah. You know what? Senator Pizza hit the nail on the head. It really context appropriate restrictions make sense.
Bingo.
So if there's flights around critical facilities, then you should be able to require Blue SUAS or something that's gone through some cybersecurity standards testing. And otherwise, like we've talked about in the past, if it's bird butts or anything like that, who cares?
Or Mesa Verde
Right?
ruins. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's really, you're taking just, the governor is taking a sledgehammer to kill a fly,
Exactly. Exactly.
that and a fly that might not even exist.
That's a good way to put it. That is a really good way to put it. And if the FAA would get off their duff and put 2209 to work to put it together and get it out there, we would have all these states not doing it themselves. We see so many states define critical infrastructure as things like power subdivisions or power substations. I mean, I've got those in my neighborhood, so that means somebody can't fly. It's dumb. It's dumb. So FAA, please. We'll go from there.
What's unfortunate is that there's some political points being scored. And it's because that there's a potential candidate for specific positions.
Mhm.
And I think that's unfortunate, because it really harms the public.
It does.
And just listening to all of the proud men and women in uniform that the public safety folks talk about how they use it, it's really unfortunate.
It is unfortunate that DeSantis didn't take the high road. DeSantis, sorry, I don't know. I keep calling him DeSantos, but DeSantis didn't take the high road and do the right thing. Do the right thing. If it was such a big deal, if Chinese security was such a big deal, we wouldn't have our phones. We wouldn't have, how many fax machines in the state of Florida offices have Chinese chips? How many modems in the state of Florida have Chinese chips? It's not real. And Ken Dono explains it so much better than you and I are capable of doing under the circumstances. We're certainly capable of it, but we're not going to do it under these circumstances.
Do we want to roll him right now just to give that explanation?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that. Let's do that. And actually, I can do this right here because I've got Ken queued up. Okay, are you ready?
I'm
Here
ready.
is Ken Dono, cleaned up for primetime television. You ready?
I want you to take your tinfoil hat off for just a second and think logically.
Oh, I love Ken. Ken, dude, you are a rock star. And yes, he did give us permission to use that.
Yes.
Yeah, he actually said you guys can use whatever you want without my permission. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I love Ken.
Ken's great. Ken's great.
Yes.
I do not listen to him without headphones on.
He's as short as I am.
He's shorter than you are, dude, isn't he? I like standing next to you guys.
Don't be quiet. You want to end on a high note, right?
Let's end on a high note.
Okay.
Let's end on a high note. A lot of you heard last week about Panama City Beach, Florida, and what they were doing. They were trying to outlaw all aircraft, not just drones, because you can't make a drone-specific law, thanks to the state of Florida. And they were going to outlaw all aircraft from 0 to 500 feet flying over private property without permission. So a whole bunch of us, David Leedy, reached out and told us about this. And so I was able to reach out and get a hold of Mr. Cole Davis. Great conversation a week ago, an hour on the phone, actually it was an hour on the phone. And he made some good points. Didn't agree with all of them. He didn't agree with all of mine, but we ended very nicely. And got news Thursday that the bill was killed.
Yay.
It was. He went ahead and went back to the city council and said, this didn't go work. And so
There's
they
some
went ahead and
reasonable
shelved
folks out there, right? That's what he probably said. There's some reasonable folks out there.
There are some reasonable folks out there. There are also some unreasonable folks out there on our side.
Yes.
And I want to make this point. During this conversation, one of the things he said was when this came up, nobody on the city council was anti-drone. It was just what happened was one neighbor was using his drone to fly into this other neighbor's backyard and harass him. So they said, well, we don't have any laws about that. Let's make laws about it. Well, you do have laws about it. We won't get into that. But there were some people that when we put out the notice that this was going on, there were some people that reached out to city council and the mayor and called them fascists, told them they were going to go to jail if they passed this bill. And that's just not what we want to do.
No.
We want to be reasonable.
Be
We want to
professional.
work with people. Be professional.
We're 107 pilots, right? We're supposed to be professional.
We're supposed to be professional. So, in the future, if that's your tack, don't. At the end of all this crap that was sent out to the city council and the mayor, I'm not sure they hated drones, but they sure felt that drone pilots were kind of the dredges of society because of the responses that they received from people who didn't really think things through.
Mhm.
So hopefully, I told Mr. Davis to please apologize on our behalf for the behavior of some of those in our community. So
Yeah.
maybe he did.
And here's the other thing: we love the passion.
Oh,
But let's
absolutely.
keep that passion in the right way.
Right.
Because when you channel it and do the right way, it's super effective.
It is. And if somebody reaches out for help, in this case, Cole Davis reached out to 5 separate drone pilots. Now, one of them was David, and David said, "Well, since you're going to talk to him, I'm not going to worry about it." But the other 3 never got back to him. And he's like, "Talk to me. You guys are the experts. Talk to me. Tell me what's going on." So it'll be interesting to have Mr. Davis on the show. Hopefully the next one, but we'll see. It's got to work into his schedule. But he raises some really good points that we need to talk to. We need to be able to address as a community, which is also going to be great for May 8th through 11th here in
Yeah.
Denver. What are we doing?
Yeah. There's a big conference.
It's a conference, the biggest conference.
Yes.
AUVSI Exponential 2023.
Exponential.
That's right. That's right. And you and I are on we're on 2 panels, but the one is Don's panel, and the other panel is our panel that is basically how to deal with elected officials.
Yeah.
And so we're going to use this.
Yeah.
We're going to use this as both. This is how you do it, and this is
How
how
to
you
do
don't
it
do
right.
Exactly. So that'll be fun. If you're going to be around, stop by. I'm also going to put a plug in, since now I am also AUVSI Rocky Mountain chapter not secretary. What am I? I'm the treasurer. So I'm on the executive committee for that. And we're going to have a kickoff at Coors Field. So we'll get a link below on that as well. And we're going to have like batting cages and pitching things and things like that to do. We're going to try and get a community politician to come and kind of give us a little talk and a welcome for those of us who aren't from Denver. So it'll be kind of fun. And tickets, I think, are $100, maybe $99 for the first few. So we'll put a link below if that's something that interests you and you're going to be here. Please do. And we're going to be there as DSPA as well in the Colorado Pavilion. So we have stickers and pins and magnets and good fun swag like that. So stop by the booth.
Isn't Scott going to be out there too?
Scott is in our panel. So yes, Scott's going to be out there because, he is Mr. AUVSI guy. What's his title? It's like 20 pages long. What is it?
I don't know. It's like
It's
grassroots
community
vice president
development
or something like that. Or
nice guy in charge of things that we do. I can't remember.
amazing
but yes.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
You know he's going to watch this entire thing. So.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We'll put his actual title below.
Don't forget.
Scott's great. He really was good in Washington, which I was in Washington 3 weeks ago, talking to some legislators about the FAA Reauthorization Act and country of origin ban and stuff like that. So Scott was great with that as well. AUVSI getting all that stuff put together.
Good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we cover everything. Well, no, there's so much more, but we try to keep it under half hour. I don't think we will this time, but we're gonna be close.
Yep. All's good. I think that Panama City thing is just phenomenal.
That Panama City is awesome, and I really want to thank Cole Davis, assistant city attorney, for Panama City Beach, for really just listening. And y'all, we'll make sure y'all know when we're going to post it. But it's going to be a good conversation. He has some great points.
Yeah.
That's really good points, which I didn't have good answers to, other than the fact that, sorry, that's just not the way it is. Yet.
Yeah.
It's all unsettled law, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. On our next show, it's going to be really exciting because for episode 21, we're going to have new bumper music because our bumper music's stale. It's stale. It's stale.
Your style of music, man.
Yeah, it is. So we'll have new stuff, and this will be the last time you'll have to listen to our outro music coming up in about 10 seconds.
Boom, chicka, boom, boom,
There
boom.
you we're not going to use boom chicka boom music. That would be so inappropriate. We'd have to have Dono on all time if we did that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he's got some funky music on his bumper stuff. It's awesome to listen to.
Yeah.
So this is Vic.
This is Kenji.
Your turn. And y'all have a great time. Fly safe. And we will be seeing you next month in Denver, I hope. And stop by the Colorado booth, say hi to me. And Kenji, because you'll be there too.
Yep, I'll be there.
All right. Fly safe.
Bye-bye.
Fly happy. Bye.